What do the bridges of Madison County, Imitation of Life, and All That Heaven Allows have in common? Well, they each have a female character as the main protagonist. Their struggle has everything to do with society's standards, and last but not least, all three of them belong to the genre of melodramas. When you hear the word melodrama, what does it make you think of? Tears? Over-the-top performances? A whirlwind of emotions? Well, all those elements that are so easily identified with the genre are a big part of the reason why they were categorized and disregarded from the very beginning around Hollywood's golden age as women's pictures, most commonly referred to nowadays as chick flicks, a motion picture intended to appeal especially to women, sometimes disparaging indeed. I feel driven to point out how absurd it is to use those terms in this day and age when films, fashion, and all other art forms, really, are trying persistently to leave behind such gender-conforming labels that serve to no other purpose but to feed prejudiced and ignorant minds. In second place, not only is it outdated to use this term, but most importantly, it's derogatory in the sense that it implies there's no actual substance to the film itself. So, what's the point? Well, in order to dismantle this limited version of such a timeless genre like the melodrama, we're going to revisit Douglas Sirk's 1955 All That Heaven Allows and Tod Haynes' 2002 homage Far From Heaven. The first, Sirk's work, focuses primarily on the lead character's attraction towards a younger man who also happens to be a gardener, whereas she's a widow from a well-to-do picket fence family with two 20-year-old kids who, together with the rest of her social circle, don't approve of her relationship with the gardener. However, it's clear from the very beginning that she's annoyed by the nonsense that comes with being a member of such a select group, and she simply wants to feel alive and free. Nevertheless, she does have the impulse to fit in, and she is concerned about what others will think of her, and that's precisely what she has to overcome. In Haynes' work, on the other hand, the two main themes are homosexuality and race. But just like in Sirk's film, which Haynes clearly pays homage to, everything that's expected of the female character from her social circle is still the anchor of the conflict. And that alone, however many decades have gone by, is still a present-day concern. In fact, it's hard to think of a point in time when the other was such a ridiculously important part of our own perception of ourselves. What they think of us, if they follow what we do, if they like it or disapprove it, if they think we're doing well. Honestly, it doesn't seem that different from these main characters' concerns. It all boils down to seeing ourselves through the eyes of others. Having said all this, what has been the legacy of the melodrama? Many modern filmmakers have made use of this genre in order to explore a wide variety of themes, from social issues and personal identity to the difficulty of coping with tragedy. It's interesting to note that a director like Almodóvar, whose most noticeable influence, not coincidentally, has been Douglas Sirk himself, together with Luis Buñuel, has literally made a lifetime outstanding career almost entirely out of melodramas. Featured in every film book listed as one of the best filmmakers in history, he has explored the complexity of human relationships through his genre in films like Todo sobre mi madre, Hable con ella, La mala educación, Volver, and Los abrazos rotos. The bottom line is, even though the presence of controversial themes such as adultery, rape, racism, domestic abuse, just to name a few, might be overshadowed sometimes by the stereotypes surrounding the genre of melodramas, it can be very insightful to make an effort as viewers and see past those superficial elements that are nothing but packaging of something much bigger. Because the treatment of these themes we've mentioned, and so many others, is there, and it's up to us to untangle the language used to portray them.